This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Hello all, we are here for another cult movie summary. In this case, it's 3 of them. Yes, we love so many different cult, long lost movies and all other sorts of just bizarre material and just stuff that you likely found on a video store but you didn't know the name of. And so I just said, you know what, let's talk about a guy who's been unfairly mistreated and just laughed off stage. It's not going to work for everybody, but come on, not everybody deserves to just be put as, the worst filmmaker of all time. In this case, that focus, the person we're defending, is none other than, once again, just Roger Christian. If that name sounds familiar, he's made a killing. Art director, set decorator, came to fame with Life of Brian and Alien, and then he helped out various installations just with Star Wars. He even directed a short film that played before Empire Strikes Back. He did second unit directing on both The Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi, and then pretty much just got laughed off after doing Battlefield Earth, because even though it was Star Wars in design, it was just too heavy-handed, annoying. But other than that, he's done all kinds of just period piece dramas, epics, music videos, and even just utter ambitious sci-fi material. And I don't blame him. I think he does his best, even when it just doesn't always deliver. I've seen him do more obscure Canadian productions and co-produce some stuff, but he has been staying busy, and I figured, why don't I dive into what you could argue is his most ambitious material. He's done other stuff. He did the period drama Nostradamus, he did the Mad Bomber flick, The Final Cup, Sam Elliott, he did the Tarantino-inspired Dennis Leary starring film Underworld, no relation. He did a Die Hard knockoff called Masterminds with Patrick Stewart, and Tarantino has said numerous times his favorite movie is The Sinner, which is about this guy who has psychic yet violent visions. Even if I don't like his movie, I can't ever say, hey, he didn't try at all, he was soulless, he was just sloppy. No, I don't get that from him at all. He's directed some TV here and there. He was also the set decorator on the original Star Wars, for which he won the Oscar, but I love how he also worked on westerns like Lucky Lady with Candice Bergen and Gene Hackman, not Candice Bergen, Lisa Minnelli, my bad. He even did second unit directing on an episode of The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. So, he has so much working for him. I applaud him for his short films. I like how some of them have been rediscovered, but he's done more than any of us will do in a lifetime, so I gotta give him his due. I do think he is legit underrated and a visionary. He's imperfect, but he's not a hack. I'm not gonna ever say that. He's apparently a huge fan of Peter Jackson as well as Tarantino, to where Tarantino and his friend George Lucas, even if he said in a podcast interview years ago, met him at a screening of Battlefield Earth and they loved it. So, different strokes for different folks. I think he's just needs to get out a little more, maybe work with different kinds of people, because that's just how you grow better. Anyway, he's happily married and, well, allegedly, and I've been doing all kinds of other things, even worked on Hammer Horror Productions back when he was in the UK, but enough of that shit. Let's move on to what he's probably arguably known for the best, just 3 different sci-fi movies. So let us begin with the 1984 film, which he co-wrote, called Starship, also known as Lorca and the Outlaws. In 2084, this had dwarf actor Deep Roy, who you guys will recognize from just numerous productions: X-Files, Eastbound and Down, Doctor Who, Neverending Story, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Tim Burton, even being the Yoda double in Star Wars. It's just, and playing Fellini, and Flash Gordon made his appearance as an Italian assassin in The Pink Panther Strikes Again. In this case, he's playing basically a R2-D2 type talking android. But yeah, a lot of people find the voiceovers in this movie annoying. I think it's just right. I don't find it too violent, even by 80s standards. Tony Banks, the keyboardist and founding member of Genesis, did music for this, and it shows. So you definitely get a lot of that synced wave, electronic kind of music all together. I mean, this movie runs pretty fast. I don't ever feel like it overstays its welcome. You can find it dirt cheap on YouTube. I know I got a VHS copy off of eBay because I just loved just the effort that went into it so much. And yeah, no, I don't have any pickles with this. I think it's just came out at a wrong time when there's just too much to consume and it was hard to stand out. That being said, I don't think it completely stands out, but the ambition, again, and ideas are on display, and that makes up for it, in my opinion. It's wild how it came out before Aliens, because I do get kind of just I feel like half the time the characters are arguing like in a Hicks and Ripley kind of way. But yeah, I'm not familiar with any of the other guys, John Tarrant, Donnell Reyes, but they've done a bunch of different things, and good on them. I think that's just the beauty of this, is just he works on all kinds of different productions. Considering that this was originally meant to be a take on 1984, but switched around, they just decided, hey, just do this independently, because Roger had a very lousy time working on the Cinder for Paramount Pictures, and he just said, no, enough of that. I'm going to do my own thing. I was filming throughout Australia and the UK, and the apocalyptic scenery works in much the same way as Escape from New York or Mad Max, where you actually just, again, there's just so much you can do in a desert that you just get that right amount of just perilous adventure without it being too morbid or just depressing.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say breakfast? Every week on Breakfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's breakfast time. Listen at breakfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
I recommend this one a lot. If you can find it on YouTube or even on a video site like Prime or Tubi Remastered, just go for it. Knock yourself out, have fun with the music, and let me know what you think. I legit want to know what my listeners want to talk about and what they think. But yeah, I think there's some fun there. And next up is the 2013 independent made-for video movie, Stranded. And this was yet another one. And I think friend of the show, Matt Poirier of the Direct-to-Video Connoisseur, said it best, is like, hey, Battlefield Earth, it's already been 13 years later. Everyone deserves a second chance. At this point, Christian was getting very busy again. He was about to do a crappy, like, religious epic movie. He'd done a very decent stalker movie with Teresa Helfer, who you might know as number 6 from the Battlestar Galactica series. And despite being on Lifetime, it was a pretty taut 2 a.m. thriller with plenty of action and psycho chills. But he did this the same year, and once again, he co-wrote it and directed it with another partner of his. I'm not sure of Christian Tiers, who coincidentally also has the name Christian in his name. This is also reasonably well shot, and I know Christian Slater is no stranger to slumming it, but despite there being some gratuitous nudity and questionable mutations, this movie chugs along pretty fast at just even under 90 minutes. So, it gets to the finish line. It's not what I would call, again, just a must-see, and of course, everyone was pretty mean to this one, because much like the last one was claimed as being a Star Wars knockoff, they just couldn't help but just say, oh, this is a shitty version of Alien. Like, this one works for me in that they're not trying to emulate every part of Alien. They're just trying to do their own thing while existing, because they are very similar. But I gotta applaud them for just deciding, hey, instead of just having people walk around endlessly and say stupid dialogue, it pretty much just gets straight to the chills, where everyone's just so unsure of what's going on. I don't think it's a pleasant movie, but it is not what I would call amateur hour either. And it was produced by Mind's Eye Entertainment, which has done all kinds of international productions. So again, this makes sense that they would get people who have just done all kinds of stuff. They have produced some other movies, everything from just made for TV to festival and direct-to-video material. But they previously produced 13 Eerie, which coincidentally Christian was also an executive producer on. So I'm liking their output of late. They've done some stuff like Endless, Daughter of the Wolf, The Humanity Bureau, and The Recall. And I just got to applaud them for just trying something different instead of just getting caught up in just slugfest that just you want it in, you want to eject the minute you watch it. I haven't seen this play on any TVs, but I'm sure it'll play eventually on something like Spike TV, or I don't know, maybe even USA Network or SciFi late at the night. But out of all the shit that Christian Slater was doing at this time, I would rank this in his top 10 of his made-for-TV direct-to-video movies. And again, direct-to-video can be often infamous, but this is hardly what I would call, oh my god, bottom of the barrel. Just a decent, just involving just terror in space movie. So lo and behold, we're here again. We got another movie. Christian was a busy motherfucker in 2013. The final one here, to sum up, is the Indiana Jones inspired Prisoners of the Sun. This coincidentally has Indiana Jones actor John Rhys Davies. It has Carmen Chaplin, one of the granddaughters of Charlie Chaplin, who's been in a lot of things. And it has a few other people in here. Nick Moran is another one, who's best known for Harry Potter and some Guy Ritchie films. Josh Ackland is another one. He's kind of the questionable one here, but David Charvet, I would say, is kind of the main weak spot. He's a French actor and model, and he's the lead in this, and he doesn't really seem to take this role all that serious. But hey, it's on him, not everyone else. He had the look, so I can kind of see why they hired him. Emily Holmes is another Canadian gal who's done guest starred in just about every show: Andromeda, Stargate, Dark Angel, Dead Zone, and she has a bunch of other movie credits to her name as well. But yeah, I was impressed with the cast, and the music and scenery was good. It lagged a little near the end, but never to the point where I'm like, oh, just get on with it. No, it's pretty straightforward, and altogether, I would say this was the standout for me. I know some people did not care for this at all and just was like, oh, fuck this. And I'll have to just politely say, I think you expected too much. I I just wanted a straightforward movie that kicked ass and nothing else. And this is basically, it'll appeal to Mummy fans. It's really, despite starring originally set to star Sean Patrick Flannery, it definitely has Tomb Raider elements, just people being trapped, going for mazes and death traps. The only thing that just stood out like a sore thumb is just the Beatles. Just the CGI was not good on them. Like, even by Sci-Fi Channel standards, it was not good. But they were only in one key scene, and the rest of the movie still flew by pretty fast. I think the main reason this just really worked for me was just the writing team. We had both Peter Atkins, who's best known for writing the first 3 Hellraiser sequels, parts 2 through 4, and then Wishmaster, and then Anthony Hickox, who also worked with him on Hellraiser 3, and has done plenty of other stuff, a bunch of action movies that premiered on HBO back in the day, with Armin Asante and Dolph Lundgren. First got into the business for the Waxwork films, and just it was kind of on the same list as Stephen Hopkins and Rennie Harlan is. We need a guy who can do action and mystery, but we mainly want you to do horror films. So we did Full Eclipse, we did Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat, and he also did some various TV, but I would say definitely some of the best stuff he did was just Larry Cohen's Psycho Thriller, as well as just directing Warlock 2, and just the man just really got out there and had fun with everything he did. And I miss those days when you could do all kinds of movies and not show your hand. So I'm happy for all these guys, and I feel like they've had very similar careers, just up and down, up and down. So I just find it interesting that they all got to collaborate and make a movie that's very similar to what they're already known for doing. So good on them. This was the highlight of the bunch for me. I think the first one, Starship, will be the most appealing. Obviously, most people probably have seen Stranded because it's a Christian Slater movie, and his star is still pretty big, even when it's in shit. But yeah, no, I just thought I'd do this brief check-in and just recommend 3 movies by this filmmaker who's, had an up and down career. So good on him for just finding just different narratives to watch and just taking a chance. I will always respect someone who can just, just bother to just do something that's tempting. Like I wish I had a career like this. Just, I don't have to be an A-lister, but I can be a B-lister. Technically, you might call him a C or D-lister, but those are for cynics. I don't need 20 million to make a good movie, and I'm not saying I need mindless entertainment, but I need something that just, it feels like someone wanted to do something, if not impactful, just intriguing, grim, maybe morbid, but had fun with what they do. And the fun definitely displayed on that last one, Prisoners of the Sun, because again, it just got straight to it. It's like, hey, something is amiss here. We got to check out what's in a cave. Or, we got all these explorers. And I just said, yeah, you know what? I'm going along for the ride. I think a lot of people just like to bitch. They love to bitch. It's got to look like something here and there I saw years ago. And it's like, no, it really doesn't. It really does not at all, actually. So, no one has a perfect career, but I would hardly say Roger Christian would never make, even remotely, the worst filmmakers of all time. Even with Battlefield Earth, like, I would, there's so many other people who are makeup artists, who are and set designers, and even cinematographers who are getting into writing and directing. He's not one of them. And so I'm just going to say this, just check it out. Especially if you're just sick of just oversaturated, big budget movies that just waste your time. And just keep checking out all these obscurities. That's what we got Tubi for. So, what can I say? Have fun, guys. Have fun. This is definitely one of those fun movies, at least one of these free. I can't say all these are turkeys that someone's just not going to dig. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to leave it to you guys to check these out, or don't, and take my word for it. Anyway, have a good one, and keep an ear out for our other lovely shows that we are promoting here.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up